Hey there guys, what is going on? Today we are doing something a little bit different here. Normally when we do some top 5, top 10 stuff, we don't really do them in order. But in today's video, we are going to be ranking, in my opinion, the top 5 best guns in Cold War Season 4 Reloaded. This is a little bit tricky here, as I think there are probably 8 or 9 really fantastic weapons in this game right now. And narrowing this list down to 5 really wasn't easy, and some of these numbers actually, or in the order really, some of them might be a little out of order, and you might disagree with me with the actual weapons that I've chosen here, but that's fine. If you do disagree with me, make sure you do leave a comment letting me know how you would change this list. Just before we do get into it here though, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. I do massively appreciate it and it really does help me out. We are looking for 6,000 subscribers as of hitting 5,100 the other day. Is very exciting. So 6,000 is our next milestone. If you could help us achieve that goal, that would be absolutely fantastic. So let's talk about the top 5 best guns in Cold War right now. So again, keep in mind, we could have added about 9 guns to this list. So we do definitely have some honorable mentions, but we will talk about those a little bit later and look at the 5 slot here. As you can see in the background, we are talking about the FARA 83. Now, I think this is a very good weapon in this game, and depending on how you do set up your class here, you get a very powerful weapon. The maximum bullet velocity that you can get with this thing is about 1500 meters per second, which is super fantastic for hit detection, but if you change those attachments around a little bit, you can still reach about 1350 meters of bullet velocity, meaning we do hit the target very hard and fast. You also get about 60 meters of damage range, 50-ish 60 meters of damage range depending on your attachments, meaning you can hit targets from very far away. And the kicker here is a 300 millisecond time to kill with very easy to control recoil. The reason this doesn't actually rank higher than this is mostly because I don't really like the iron sights. I think they're fine, but I don't prefer them over other weapons in this game. So this does sit in the 5 slot with a 300 millisecond time to kill, and if we were looking for a class setup for this thing, we would go with something like this. You can start off with the suppressor or the Spetsnaz compensator. This does depend on how you do want to play. A suppressor will actually keep you alive longer in this game, as you will not be easy to track down on the minimap when you are firing this thing. But if you don't want to worry about the suppressor, you can take the Spetsnaz compensator for 12% more vertical recoil control here. Moving on, the barrel that we want to go with is the Liberator barrel for a 100% increase to our bullet velocity. This does take our number, as I said, to 1350 meters per second, which is really great for hit detection here. Then we move to the underbarrel for that Spetsnaz speed grip for a 5% increase to our sprinting movement speed, as well as 15% increase to our horizontal recoil control. This means we can sprint around the map quite quickly and get to areas that other people can't get to as quickly. Moving on, we do have the VDV 50 round fast mag here. Now this is an attachment that you don't really need. This isn't a necessary one. You can switch this out for a stock if you do prefer, but I really do like having those extra bullets as well as a very fast reload speed here, so this is up to you. But if you don't prefer this, as I said, you can switch this out for a KGB skeletal stock for faster sprint to fire speed and faster aim walking movement speed as well. Then to round this off, we do have the GRU elastic wrap here, as we are taking the larger magazine, because this does give us 30% aim down sight speed increase, which is a really nice bonus here. Now, the number 4 and the number 3 slots are weapons that really could be interchangeable, and I'm not really 100% sold on which goes where, but as of this list, we're going to go with the AK-74U, as you can see in the background, as the number 4 weapon. Now, this thing absolutely laser beams people up close. This thing just removes people from the map, and you get about 150 millisecond time to kill if you throw in 2 headshots and a body shot. You are just deleting people in this game, which is ridiculously fast. It is actually outgunned by another weapon on this list, which we will talk about in just a second. But I mean, this thing really is a close range powerhouse. Just being able to delete people up close is super fun in this game. Again, if we were looking at a class setup here, we would go with something like this. Again, the perks and the secondary and all those other lovely things, you can pick and choose however you do want to prefer this. But again, my attachments will be as follows here. Starting off with that muzzle, the Spetsnaz compensator for 12% increase to our vertical recoil control does help keep those shots down, which is actually necessary because of the task force barrel. This is the barrel option that does actually give you that 3-shot kill. If you land 2 headshots and you do get another body shot, you are getting that 150-ish damage, meaning you are getting a 3-shot kill, which is really fun, and just absolutely deleting people is super fun in this game. Again, we do increase our damage, our effective damage range, as well as our bullet velocity with this. Moving on, in the underbarrel slot, you can take like 3 options here. There's the foregrip, there's the Spetsnaz grip, and then there's the Spetsnaz speed grip. All 3 of these options are going to affect your recoil in some way, and you really get to pick and choose with your movement speed stats depending on how you do want to play. Then we have the handle here for the Serpent Wrap, 25% increase to our aim down sight speed. Again, we don't really want to reduce our shooting movement speed and sprint to fire speed with the GRU elastic wrap, as a close range weapon really does rely on those stats. And then to round this off here, we do have the KGB skeletal stock again for that sprint to fire speed increase of 30%, as well as 10% increase to our aim walking movement speed here is a really nice way to round out this class setup. Again, as I did mention before, the 3 and 4 slots on this list are pretty much interchangeable. You can really just sort of swap these in and out because they do very similar things. However, I do actually have a preference for the OTS-9 here. I think this new weapon added in the Season 4 Reloaded update is a really, really good addition to this game. It is essentially a cross between the AK-74U and something like an MP5, and it is better than an MP5 in my opinion, as well as having very, very similar TTK values to, of course, the AK-74U. So the OTS-9 is one of my favorite new weapons in this game, just removes people from the map, and you can really, really change up this class setup depending on how you do want to play, and you'll still be able to get loads of kills with this thing. Again, keep in mind, if you are getting some headshots and throwing some headshots into your TTK values, you are absolutely deleting people from this game. Very, very similar to the AK-74U, man. I think it's even slightly faster if you are getting all headshots. Again, if we were to look at attachments on this thing, as I said, this weapon is very, very versatile here, and that is one of the main draw cards. However, you do actually need a magazine attachment, and whether that be the VDV 32 round fast mag or a 40 round mag, this is again up to you. Again, moving to the muzzle attachment, you can take a Spetsnaz compensator, you can take a KGB eliminator for the maximum amount of recoil control. But again, because we do actually like to live a little longer in these games, the Grew Suppressor does give us the best of both worlds here. For that muzzle flash concealment and a little bit of extra vertical recoil control does help keep us on target as well. Then again, the Task Force Barrel, as I said, this is one of those options that does actually get us a 3-shot kill. If you are landing 3 headshots, which is kinda unlikely, you can absolutely delete people in this game. But even if you are just throwing in some headshots into your regular TTK values, you are going to absolutely remove people from this game, which is so super fun here. Then in the underbarrel slot, we are actually taking the Spetsnaz grip here for the most amount of recoil control possible. 6% to vertical and 20% to horizontal does help keep us on target here and combat the negatives from the Task Force Barrel. As I said, the magazine, whatever you do prefer, and then the handle to counter the aim down sight speed loss of this particular setup. We do have the Grew Elastic Wrap here again for a 30% increase to our aim down sight speed. But realistically, you probably don't want to reduce your sprint to fire speed by as much here, so the Serpent Wrap is also a very, very good option as well. Again, depending on who you ask here, the number 2 slot and the number 1 slot could basically be switched around. It really doesn't matter which slot you actually do prefer these in, but the LC10 is our number 2 weapon here, and again, I know some of you are already screaming at your monitor, your TV, your phone, whatever, that this should be in the number 1 slot, but I mean, again, it really is a coin flip depending on what you do want to put in the 1 or 2 slot, and this is what I've gone with here. So the LC10 is just an ultra reliable weapon, man. You can fight at about 20 meters or so and just get a 300 millisecond time to kill, which is really, really nice for an SMG in this game. The bullet velocity is one of the main draw cards with this thing, as the hit detection is super, super smooth with this. It is about 800 meters per second, give or take probably 30 or 40. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. This thing is just really, really good, and you already know this, and we did a poll the other day, and this is the best SMG in the game according to you guys. The attachments that we are running on this thing are pretty standard, starting off again with that infantry compensator for 12% vertical recoil control, but again, you can take a suppressor if you do want that muzzle flash concealment. Just keep in mind this does reduce your effective damage range. Moving on, we do have the Task Force Barrel again for an increase to our damage. The effective damage range and bullet velocity are the best possible options for hit detection and so on, which is a really, really nice increase to help us hit our target here. Again, 19 meters of damage range is really, really nice for an SMG. Moving on, we do have just a straight up foregrip here for, again, 15% increase to our horizontal recoil control. Again, you can take a field agent grip if you want more recoil control. You don't really need it, but again, the SFOD speed grip is also a good option for a little bit of extra sprinting movement speed. Again, we have the same sort of trio of attachments here, a magazine, a handle, or a stock, depending on how you do want to play this. We like the Salvo 52 round fast mag because it is a really, really goofy option to just slap a 52 round magazine straight into the gun really, really quickly here. I really do enjoy this. But again, the handle does have to compensate for that aim down sight speed decrease from the magazine. And if you don't actually need a magazine here, you can just throw on a Raider stock for that sprint to fire speed increase, which is a really, really nice boost for close range combat with an SMG. And as you may have guessed, as we haven't featured it yet here today, the AK-47 is my number 1 weapon in the game at the moment. Again, as I said, the number 1, the number 2 slot could both be switched around, and the number 3 and the number 4 slot could probably switched around as well, depending on how you do value different weapons in this game. But I really think the AK-47 is just the most versatile thing in the game right now. It's just such an easy weapon to use. It is really, really reliable up close, really, really reliable at medium distances, and I think you get the job done at longer range, which is just... that's pretty absurd for a weapon to be able to sort of compete at all areas of the game, which is a really, really nice option for a 300 millisecond time to kill at about 70 meters, which is just super, super strong in this game right now. The hit detection is really, really smooth with the right barrel attachments, and I mean, you just gun people down with this. We did feature this in a video yesterday, so if you do want to go check out a full setup guide for this, make sure you do click on that. But for those of you who haven't watched that video yet, these are the attachments that we do want to run. Basically, what we do have here is the suppressor. We do actually get that muzzle flash concealment here, and this does take our damage range and bullet velocity values with the VDV reinforced barrel to 71 meters of damage range, which is really, really ridiculous for an assault rifle, as well as about 900 meters per second of bullet velocity, meaning we can hit the target as hard and as fast as possible from ridiculously far away here. Again, in the underbarrel slot, that Spetsnaz speed grip does really move us around the map quite quickly when we are sprinting, a really nice boost here, making this very, very similar to something like an SMG when we are sprinting around. Moving on, again, the handle is the Serpent Wrap with a 25% increase to our aim down sight speed to make this a little bit more effective at close range. And then, of course, the stock, the KGB skeletal stock, again, 30% sprint to fire speed and 40% aim walking movement speed. But again, you can actually switch this out for a magazine if you are, for example, playing on a 12v12 playlist, or you just want to fire it and shoot at more guys. The magazine attachment, like a 40 round mag, is always going to do the job for you as well. So just keep that in mind here. We do actually have some honorable mentions here. Now, there are 4 weapons that we actually haven't included here that could have been on this list in some capacity, that being the KSP-45. As you can see in the background here, the KSP-45 is an absolute laser beam, just bursts people down. If you are at the right distances with this thing, you absolutely remove people from the game, which is a lot of fun here. But this thing is a little bit of an unwieldy beast. Like, if you can't handle this, you're not going to get the job done here. So it is only as good as the user here. Then you look at something like the MG82 here, and this is a very, very fast firing LMG. I mean, as you can see in the background, we absolutely delete people with this thing. I mean, we were playing on cranked hardpoint, so the reload times and movement speed values are a little skewed here. But I think an LMG like the MG82 is absolutely perfect for cranked hardpoint, meaning you get the best of both worlds in terms of movement speed, reload speed, and just absolute gunning down firepower. So a very, very powerful weapon that also could have been included on this list. Another weapon that we could have included on this list is the Swiss K31. This is a very, very powerful sniper for quick scoping. That fast aim down sight speed and handling speeds are really, really nice values for getting those sights up nice and quickly and absolutely deleting people from the game. As you can see in the background, I'm not the best sniper in the world, but even I can get up close and personal with this thing and have an excellent time here. And then the last weapon that we do have as an honorable mention on this list is the M82. I think this is the best sniper in the game overall, just in terms of those one-shot kill zones being sort of down to the stomach as well. That relatively fast aim down sight speed for snipers in this game and being able to fire a second or third shot relatively quickly here. I think this is a very, very good sniper in this game as well. So again, as I said, that was our list here with a couple of honorable mentions, as I do appreciate that we could have had more weapons on this list. I feel like 5 options in the game at the moment is very, very strong, and I feel like these are the best weapons in the game. Again, the order could be switched around a little bit, and that is up to you. Make sure you do leave a comment letting me know how you would have organized this list. And again, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on if you have not already done so. I do very much appreciate it, and it really does help me out. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!